Alright, so we're in section 2.4, solving equations with variables on both sides. The diagram gives you information about the populations of two towns. After how many years will the populations be equal? How do you know? So, town A, the population is 3,225, with 100 people coming each year. Town B starts with more people, however, the yearly growth is fewer, 75 people each year. So, how do you know how can you find out algebraically? So let's find out as we look through the sections. So problem 1 asks, what is the solution of 5x plus 2 equals 2x plus 4? So look at what we did in the previous sections. How is this equation different than the other ones? So we have an x on both sides. We want to get x on one side. It does not matter which side you put it on, but I would like to keep my x positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. So when I do that, 5x minus 2x is 3x. The 2 drops down. 2x minus 2x is 0, and the 14 just drops down. So voila, look, we are at where our other equations were looking like. So now, what I want to do is I want to get 3x by itself. So, I got to get rid of this positive 2. Subtract 2 on both sides. For 3x equals 14 minus 2, because 2 minus 2 is 0. 14 minus 2 is 12. So, how do I get 1x if I have 3 times x? Divide by 3 on both sides. So, x equals 4. Alright, and to check that, let's check to see if we're right. So therefore, the check is, for every x I see, I'm going to plug in 4. So, it's going to be 5 times 4 plus 2. Does that equal 2 times 4 plus 14? Let's find out. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 2. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 14. Alright, so 20 plus 2 is 22. 8 plus 14 is 22. And we're good. Alright, so let's look at so why don't you try the got it? What is the solution to 7k plus 2 equals 4k minus 10? Alright, so let's look at problem 2. It takes a graphic designer 1.5 hours to make one page of a website. Using new software, the designer could complete each page in 1.25 hours. But it takes 8 hours to learn the new software. How many web pages would the designer have to make in order to save time using the new software? So that's saying, save time using the new software. What is the minimum number of pages that the designer would have to make in order for the same that he used the same hours with the old web page for old software versus the new software? When would it take the same number of hours? So therefore, using the old one takes 1.5. 1.5 hours, right? And the new one takes 8 hours plus 1.25 hours. Alright, so what we're trying to find is how many web pages. So we're going to let P represent the number of pages right here. So the old one is 1.5 pages, and then 8 plus 1.25 pages. The number of pages he would have to make. So, therefore, we're going to set these equal to each other. So 1.5p equals 8 plus 1.25p. Now, although these are decimals, we still solve it the same way. So, I want to get p on one side. So I'm going to choose I want to get on the left side. So I'm going to subtract 1.25p on both sides. I cannot subtract 1.25p from 8 because 8 is a constant. It does not have a variable. So 1.5p minus 1.25p is just 0.25p equals the 8 drops down, and this is 0. So now what I have to do, I have to get rid of 0.25 times p. So I'm going to I'm going to divide by 0.25 and 0.25. And when I do, p equals 32 pages. So the web designer would have to design 32 pages in order for it to take the same amount of time using the old software versus the new one. The minimum is 32 pages. So why don't you try to got it right here? Alright, problem 3. Problem 3 is asking you for the solution to this equation right here. So, you see variables. So, the first thing we have to do is distribute. So, what we're going to do is 2 times 5x is 10x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So if it's negative 2, I'm going to put a minus 2, because it's negative. Equals, I'm going to distribute on this side. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 11 is 33. Next, what I want to do is I want to get the x's on one side. I'm going to choose the left side again. So negative 3x, negative 3x. So 10x minus 3x is 7x. The 2 drops down. 3x minus 3x is 0, and the 33 drops down. So now, I want to get the 7x by itself. So this is a negative 2, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So 7x equals 35. Now, 7 times x, I want to get the x, I want to get 1 times x. So to do that, I'm going to divide by 7. So x equals 5. Let's see if that's right. Plug 5 in for every x you see, and see if you get it. So, why don't you try to got it? What is the solution to each of these equations? Alright, and number 4. Number 4 asks to find the solution of this equation. So, you can see it looks like the one from number 3. But now, we don't have to worry about moving 10x at all, because this stays the same. And now, what property we're going to use over here? Distributed. So 2 times 5x is 10x. 2 times 6 is 12. And see, we can stop right here, because you notice that 10x plus 12, the left side is exactly the same as the right side, right? So that means that because the left equals the right, we have an infinitely many solutions. So our answer is, if I can spell it correctly, infinitely many solutions. That's saying that no matter, regardless of what value you choose for x, this equation will always be true. So if I had like x equals 2, x equals 3, x equals 4, try plugging those in. When you plug those in, you will get the same, this side will always equal the right side. Let's try letter B. This is 9m minus 4 equals 3m plus 5 plus 12m. So, first what I want to do is switch this over to negative 3m plus 12m plus 15. So I use the commutative property. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. Negative 3m plus 12 is 9m plus 15. So now I want to get my m's on one side. So I'm going to put it to the right this time. So that means I got to subtract 9m on both sides. And when I do, 9m minus 9 is 0. The 4 drops down, but don't forget this negative right here. Negative 4. 9m minus 9m is 0, so the 15 drops down. So you see, negative 4 equals 15. Well, you know that's certainly not right. So since the left side doesn't equal the right side, this equation up here, it has no solution, because the left doesn't equal the right. But you can see in letter A, we had infinitely many because the left did equal the right. So no solution. So why don't you try the got it down here. What's the solution to each equation?